Hello, this is Eric, and as you know, Hollywood ruins everything. And today we're going to be talking about the most recent Star Wars film to enter theaters, Solo, a Star Wars story. Now, be warned, there are spoilers ahead. Solo isn't really a bad film. There's not anything that I can really complain about. It's just uninspired, I think would be the best word for it. There are a lot of tropes in it that you'll notice repeated in a lot of the more recent Star Wars films, like a quirky robot. In this film, it was L3. In Rogue One, it was, what's-his-face, the genocidal robot, Empire bot, whatever his name was. The original trilogy and the prequels had C-3PO and R2-D2. The more recent trilogy has BB-8, so on and so forth. There's also the inevitable betrayal by an ally, and just a bunch of stuff that you would recognize being in all the other films, and you just start to pattern match these things together. There's also a ridiculous amount of references. It's almost like, in the beginning of the writing process, they just kind of sat down and asked, what does a Solo film need to have? And they come up with the Kessel Run, and Chewbacca, and the bet for Lando Calrissian for the Millennium Falcon, and Han's signature pistol, his dice, Chewbacca actually literally ripping the arms off some guy, and also even like a hand shot first reference. I'm not sure if it was entirely meant to be it, but it completely came off that way, and that kind of fan service just kind of changes the excitement of the whole journey to just, I recognize this, and I recognize that, and I recognize, and that recognition just kind of muddles the feeling of a fun adventure story. Not to say that it was really that fun an adventure story. Again, there weren't a lot of actual surprises, not a lot of playing around and taking risks with the storytelling. This is about as standard an adventure story set in the Star Wars universe can possibly get. As for the actors and the characters, they were alright. The writing for Han was okay, but there was something about the acting that didn't quite add up. Something lacking in the charisma department? I don't know, it just didn't feel like Han. And Chewbacca didn't really seem to have a lot of screen time. Like, in the original trilogy, he's a secondary character, but he's Han's best friend, so a movie that's focused on Han you should reasonably expect Chewbacca to get more attention, and it didn't really feel that way. It kind of didn't feel like the writers knew what to do with him, and so they just kind of stuck him in the strongman role. Then there's the romantic interest, Qi'ra. She was okay. She didn't really seem to have that much of a character in and of herself. The actor, I'm not sure if this was acting or not, but she just kind of seemed like she didn't want to be there. And then, apparently she's working for Darth Maul. Yeah, Darth Maul. I don't know what he's doing there. He just kind of randomly shows up, mechanical legs and double lightsaber and everything. I don't know why he was written into this story, but he's there. Maybe Darth Maul was Snoke the entire time. You heard it here first, folks. There are a few things that I liked that stand out a little bit more, brought the film just slightly above the average line, but not too much. Like when they killed Cthulhu with a black hole! I also liked L3, the female droid. A lot of these droid characters seem to have pretty strong personality traits, especially in comparison with some of the human characters, but she decides in the middle of a mission that she wants to start a droid revolution, and it careens into this big chaotic mess with droids just going nuts everywhere all over the equipment. Like, seriously, that's right in the middle of a mission. That's the perfect time to start the glorious droid revolution! And Donald Glover as a younger Lando Calrissian worked out pretty well. He managed to get most of the basic kind of voice and facial movement. He did pretty well. But overall, it was a thoroughly average adventure flick set in the Star Wars universe. In terms of my top 10 list for Star Wars movies, I'd probably stick this between, say, Revenge of the Sith and Rogue One, with Rogue One being the worst one. It was moderately enjoyable occasionally. Yeah, high praise. But in my opinion, it's not really worth seeing twice. It's a story that existed for its own sake and checked off every single box on the checklist without doing anything else. So that was Solo, and that marks the end of Star Wars Month. I had a lot of fun researching all sorts of stuff from the Star Wars universe and watching all sorts of movies and shows, and I know that Dan was enjoying it as well before he went on hiatus. From this point forwards, it'll be back to a normal schedule, minus the things that Dan's involved with, unfortunately. It's not going to be the end of Star Wars for me, because I still have things to do, like play a couple of Star Wars games, watch the Clone Wars TV show, but it will be the end of Star Wars content on this channel for a while. So, thanks for watching. If you've seen Solo, I'd like to hear what your thoughts are, so please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell button to receive notifications for whenever we put out a new video, and have a nice day.